Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. How are you today? I hope everything is going great. Today, we're going to launch the Goodnight Sword Kickstarter. I was thinking yesterday that I would have it like already live by the time the morning grind went live, but it was one thing I needed to update this morning, and I did it one way and then realized, oh, actually, I need to do it a different way. And so I took that back down. So I didn't actually, I changed it up again. So I didn't actually hit the live button. But then I thought, you know what? We should actually just go live here on the morning grind and actually press the button right here. It just kind of felt right after everything the morning grind has been and become. So actually what we're going to do today is we'll just do one final check over everything about the Goodnight Sword Kickstarter page. And then I will press the button live. So, and then send out the Kickstarter link. So everybody will see it here. So that just seems like something we should do today. I mean, the Kickstarter launch of Goodnight Sword, that's a big thing here. So, hey, Zero the Blade, I saw, good morning. Let's do it. Let's see how fast it can be done. I saw that you went to a different channel. I think she broadcast it on the Burr Network and then also on the Positive Fandom channel. If you didn't see that, there was an interview. I did an interview last night with of Positive Fandom, and she's part of the Burr Network. And so if you look up, and I think she broadcasted to both of those channels, the Positive Fandom channel, and you probably also see her. She was in the chat yesterday during yesterday's show. I thought it was a great interview. So if you didn't see that and you want to, definitely check that out. Let's see. Hey, PH, Mental Fish, report in. Welcome, Sable Phoenix. Good morning, Zero Theory. And Brett, good to see you. Congrats on today's release. Thank you. Thank you. Sable Phoenix says it's the first step to total media domination. Well, that's where we're going to go. This is a multiple step process, but I'm very glad. I'm feeling really good this morning to finally be back to Kickstarter and doing it, being on Kickstarter with one of the worlds that I'm trying to do. And so I feel like after a long, slow kind of slide, pulling things up, and this Kickstarter is going to be a big part of it. Hey, let's go ahead and do a sip here. I went ahead. I got Monster Energy drink this morning. So let's do a breathe and sip, and 2 deep breaths, deep inhale, complete exhale, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage here. So let's go. And sip. Okay. So first thing I'll do is I'll put out the Ravenkeep Discord server link for anybody who might be coming by and who's not a part of it. But then also, so this is the Kickstarter page right now still has the notify me when upon launch. So if you want to go over there and click that, that's the link to the Kickstarter page. So right now it's got the notify me on launch, but that's the one we will need here in just a second when we go live. Oh, let me get the screen sharing up. So, all right, here we go. If you've never seen behind the scenes on a Kickstarter before, here is what it looks like. So everything should be ready. So we got Goodnight Sword, a fantasy medieval bedtime story, a world of gallantry, chivalry, and rabbits based on the classic story Goodnight Moon. I put it in publishing children's books, art, illustration. So we've got the illustration covered from Adam's side. Here in Birmingham, project image, check. Project video, definitely got a project video. We are all good there. Just going to $250. I set this up as print on demand. So that way, whether, like I said, whether it's 5,000 books that are needed or just 10 books that are needed. Well, don't worry. This time, the way I'm doing this, it's going to be covered because this is when Goodnight Sword's happening. So we can get it done right now. So, okay, here is our projected launch date. So that's here. So we're going to end on a specific date and time. So I'm not going to go for a very long campaign. I like having a beginning to a campaign, a beginning and an end to a campaign. So that's going to be just over 2 weeks. So that's going to end on June 1st. I want to check my time here. So that's 2 weeks. So 14, that's 16 days. That's going to be a 16-day campaign. So it's just over 2 weeks. And we want to end at 8:00 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And I picked that because we typically, when we stream on Tuesday and Thursday nights, we've been typically starting at 7:30, but we've kind of moved to starting at 7 Central. So I figure there can be like a countdown party or something like that. I figure I'll be live. So that way the campaign will end on Thursday night where we can do a live stream there Thursday night. Good morning, Tomocrat. Good morning. Good to see you. So that looks all right to me. So that's the end date is the big one. June 1st, because you can't change that once it's done. June 1st at 8 p.m. All right, next. Reward levels. Okay, digital sword edition, digital Goodnight Sword edition, hardback book and ebook. Simple. This is simple. Signed Goodnight Sword ebook, a hardback book here as well. And I will do up to 100 of those if for some reason that number is necessary. I was at the post office yesterday. Oh, I'll show you. Well, it's in there. I won't get up to get it. But I was at the post office yesterday getting some packing material and seeing the cost of shipping. There's the shipping, the cost. The reason this is higher as well as its shipping is higher is just because those books have to get shipped to me. Then I'm going to pack them up and then I have to ship them out from my local post office. And it's going to take between $9 and $12 to ship those books out from me to you somewhere in the United States. So that's why. But that's the 3 pledge levels. Looks good. Goodnight Sword ebook, signed Goodnight Sword physical book, Goodnight Sword ebook. Oh, and if you're a channel member, I put a link in the YouTube community page just yesterday. So if you're a community member and you want a free, if you're at it was the Knights of the Geekverse level. So if you're a Knight of the Geekverse, I sent you a free digital edition of Goodnight Sword yesterday. So that is, look in the YouTube channel, community channel for that. Nope, hadn't missed the launch yet. We're actually doing a final check live, and we're going to launch it live, Tomocrat. All right, next story. So this I've been over this several times, and I think you've seen this, so I think we are good here. And this part can actually be adjusted if necessary. What somebody asked me, which I was trying to add in this morning, was that how do you handle pledging for more than one book? And I had actually tried to figure that out previously when I was first putting this together, but I specifically had a question about how do I pledge for more than one book? And so it would be really great if, oh, hey, Inner Light, listening in the background while I'm working on a dark fantasy setting. Cool. Glad to have you here. You've been a major part of this. I'm glad you're here for the launch. So regarding that, it would be really nice to be able to do extra books as add-ons. It would actually be really nice if Kickstarter would just let you take a pledge level and say, I'd like 3 of those. That would be perfect, but it doesn't let you do that. The next best thing, since they did add the add-on items, is to say, I would like to just add on extra copies of the book as add-on items. But you still can't actually do that because I was trying to put in a week or two ago those books as add-on items, but it would let you add it on to the digital pledge because there's no shipping on the digital pledge. And so I just really wanted to be able to say, hey, if you're at this pledge level, the following items can be added on. If you're at this pledge level, the following items can be added on. That makes so much sense. But because it makes so much sense, that's why Kickstarter doesn't allow you to do it, right? So Kickstarter would just put all of the add-on items on all the reward levels. And I was like, that doesn't work. But then, since somebody, because I wanted to be able to offer that, but then when I got asked about it, I was like, oh, well, you could use the pledge for any amount. But then I realized, no, you actually can just adjust your pledge upward. It's been a little while since I've actually been on Kickstarter. So if you do want, I just added this. So if you want more than one copy of the book, you can absolutely get it. The books are $25 each. Signed books are $35. Just add multiples of the correct amount to your pledge for multiple copies of the book. There's no need to add additional funds for shipping. Multiple books can ship out for the same cost. Your pledge, if your pledge needs additional clarification, you can message me directly through the Kickstarter, but also surveys will be sent out through the Kickstarter system after the campaign is over to collect additional information that's needed. So that, I guess, is the easiest way to do that. So it should be easy to determine what exactly you're pledging for. If you've got like an additional $50 on the pledge, that's pretty obviously 2 extra books because there's not a whole lot on there. So that's the way I'm handling that, and that's what I was dealing with this morning. So that's all taken care of. And like I said, I'm pretty happy with this page, and it can change anyway if there is a mistake or something needs to be added. It's the pledge levels that are locked in. So story. Whoop. Go back and save. There's nothing to say. Let's save. Sable Phoenix says, have you ever used Indiegogo? I've never done a crowdfunding campaign, but from what I understand, it's easier to use and more flexible than KS, but it costs a bit more. Yes, I did run an Indiegogo campaign once. I ran an Indiegogo campaign for the Cultists Coffee Kickstarter, the Cultists Coffee crowdfunding campaign a long time ago. It was just a small thing. But no, Indiegogo's back end for things like that, for adding on items, for knowing what exactly it is that you are pledging for when you are when you make your pledge, making choices and things like that. Indiegogo is far superior. It has a far superior back end. So we may end up using Indiegogo more here as long as people end up accepting it. This is a small campaign, so it can be the as far as number of SKUs and products and things like that goes. So Kickstarter is fine. But if in the future, it may be that we do some more Indiegogo things or use both from time to time, because Kickstarter also doesn't let you overlap Kickstarter campaigns. And if we have something else to run, we can go over to Indiegogo. The issue with Indiegogo, especially in the tabletop space, is that people, if you put a tabletop game on Indiegogo, people are going to think there's something wrong with it. People are just going to be expecting the tabletop games to be on Indiegogo. Excuse me, they're just expecting tabletop games to be on Kickstarter. That's where people want it. You'd like hide it if it were over on Indiegogo. But I wish Kickstarter would get itself in gear and get the back end of its system actually nailed down. I have seen in the ad on the ad of section for more than one book. And yeah, as long as if I could have just controlled which pledge levels that could be added to, that would have been perfect. Good morning, Positive Fandom. Good morning. I was just saying that everyone, if you missed last night's interview, check out the Positive Fandom channel. We had RM and I had a fantastic interview last night. I really enjoyed it. So it's still on her channel on the live. So we talked about Tales of Rabivania and Goodnight Sword and a bunch of other things too. All right, so we are good there. People, I'm running this under Raven Keeps. This is, that's the company that I set up to publish the things that we're creating here. So we got that, but in my personal profile as a collaborator, we're looking good here. We are all checked out with all of the information that they need as far as financials go. Promotions, we are here. That page is up. The preview is up. We don't need any of that right now. So that is it. All right. I think we are ready then. I think there's actually, when you press to go live, it kind of tricks you because then there's another button to press. But let's go ahead and go with this. I am ready to launch. Hopefully this works. Okay, I have read. Let's see. Funding is all or nothing. Got it. Check that. Launch project. All right, we are live. We are live right now. Oh, that's fun. We used to, did we ever do a live launch before? I think that's actually the first live launch I've ever done. I've recorded the launch and then put it up on Kickstarter later, on like YouTube later. But here we go. I've never done it live. So, Goodnight Sword Kickstarter. We are now live. Okay. Now, thank you. Thank you, Innerlight. All right. I will take that down. So there we go. So, all right. We now, when I leave this live stream, I'm going to send out emails about this. I've got to make a list, and I started kind of making the list of things to go out and post because I'll post to Instagram. Adam Botsford, if Adam isn't in the chat, Adam, the illustrator, he needs to know that we are live. He already had the link. I know he's got people to tell about it. So I'll put out on Facebook and Instagram, and I will post a notification in the Discord server and send out emails about this. And then also I've got YouTube Shorts and also Instagram Reels to make out. And I'm going to try to put out a lot of material like that on the Tales of Rabivania Instagram page, and then also like some shorts on YouTube. Go ahead and try to get people get people here for it. So I guess notifications are going out now. Actually, Sable Phoenix says today Kickstarter, tomorrow the world. Yep, this is. I'm excited about it because this is the start of something. I was trying to get the action figures and the plush toys done with this, and and make it a bigger, but that would be a huge Kickstarter and would have to get minimum orders and things like that. So I think this is a much better way to go in order to create all of those things. So, but this is a much better way to go. This goes ahead and gets it out there. We'll start. It starts Rabivania going, and then we can just build out from there. PH says, I have to take my kid to school. I'll rewatch this and check the Kickstarter later. See you guys. Good lucky. Thank you, PH. Drive safe, taking kids to school. So I do have a special guest over here, so to speak, I guess. Who was it that was? It only seems this is a character that needs to be behind us for a lot more of the streams, because people were asking me the original inspiration for the Tales of Rabivania. Well, here he is. I found him. He has survived ever since this was a stuffed animal. This is one of the reasons why I want there to be Rabivania stuffed animals, because the inspiration for Rabivania was this stuffed rabbit right here. So he has been well worn, well used, well loved. So this is it. My aunt and godmother gave him to me when I was super young. I don't even remember, remember that. But unlike a favorite blanket or something like that that kids have, this was my favorite thing to walk around with. And so, as a kid, so I've kept him ever since then. And so that's why, like I said, we got to do stuffed animals, because the stuffed animal was the original inspiration for this. And I used to write like Tolkien stories, based on, orcs and elves and wizards and things like that. And my grandfather told me at one point, I want you to write a story that's completely unique and completely your own. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that, like when I was really young. But then later I was like, oh, you know what? I think I will try something of my own. And boom, here he is. So I was like, I think I'll write a story about this guy right here. And so that's what initially created Rabivania. So he needs to, the initial inspiration. I'll fix it up later, but definitely needs to be behind us. Tomocrat has pledged. Okay, thank you very much, Tomocrat. Sable Phoenix, very glad to have you as part of the campaign and as part of the community. Sable Phoenix says, out of curiosity, what's your day job when you're not running the Geekverse? Ideally, the creative stuff will eventually cover all the bills, but sounds like this is just the first step of that for you. Yes. So right now, this is rebuilding. This is definitely rebuilding. I don't have a day job. I'm considering. I have been, especially over the last couple of weeks, wondering if I also have to go and get another job. Because right, yes, at the moment, this is not covering everything while I'm running the Geekverse. Now, it was my full-time job when I was with Infinite Black. It was more than a full-time job when I was running Infinite Black with David. So with Infinite Black, David and I were full-time tabletop game publishing. And so I've been trying to get back to that. I did a lot of work after I left Infinite Black, creating products and things like that, sculpting, getting the action figures sculpted. I didn't sculpt them. Working on the books, the illustrations, been doing some writing, but yeah, I haven't actually gotten back up to speed on that side of things. So this is rebuilding on the Ravenkeep side, and hopefully I can keep going a little bit more and build a bit more, and get the Ravenkeep side of things flowing. Because if I do have to go and get a job, which actually I was looking at in different cities over the past week, I've got to make a call actually very soon if I'm going to move. I wasn't expecting. I suddenly have had an opportunity to potentially move to a new city, but I would have to get a job out there. So I'm trying to make that call right now. Sure would be nice if we could get something going over here so I could continue working. But maybe moving to another city to get a job. Maybe not. I got to make that call. And I haven't had time to think about it quite a bit because I've been working on this page. Hey, James, welcome. See, okay, this is not unusual. See, Brett says, I have my baby pillow in a box in the garage. I'm 46. I think it's cool to keep things like that. Of course, it takes a lot to keep them. I've been moving all over the country and stuff like that. So I still have some boxes of sentimental stuff from childhood and things like that. But what I have is important, I think. James says, I'm here and I pledge. Thank you, James. Thank you. Sable Phoenix says, one day he'll be gone off your shelf, and then you'll see a fuzzy live rabbit in the backyard, suspiciously of the same color with a little familiar ragged patches in his fur. Oh, that would be really great. I've thought about, I don't have any pets. I don't even have a plant. It's just me. So there's no, but I have thought about that if I was going to get a pet, I should get a rabbit. And if I got one rabbit, I'd probably get two so that they have someone to play with, because if I were to have a pet, it only seems right to have a rabbit. And they do like use litter boxes and things like that. So if they were going to be a real pet, then it would have to be a rabbit. Inner Light says, you don't make enough from YouTube to pay the bills. No, I do not. Not from YouTube or sponsors. So I'm going to try to World Anvil wants to sponsor some standalone videos. So World Anvil was very kind sponsoring what we were doing here for the first 3 months, or for 3 months this year. But that didn't really work out. But they're interested in some standalone videos, and I'm going to work on cutting some stuff out from all of these live streams that we should be talking. There were like separate subjects to talk about, and so they may sponsor some. But no. My YouTube advertising sponsorships revenue does not. See, that would be great. I was originally thinking about that. I was thinking, well, when I return to trying to get creative stuff going, it would be great if through YouTube, either through advertising or through sponsorships or whatever methods YouTube has, if there was some base level of revenue that doing the live shows in the mornings and the evenings would generate, and then I could focus on creating the products to do the Kickstarter on and stuff like that. So it would be great if YouTube kind of was the job that provided some base level of income. But no, I'm not anywhere big enough for that. YouTube does not do that. Nowhere near. James says, it's very cool to keep things like that. Brett says, move to California. We can play Hero Quest. Well, that was kind of in the cards. See, Brianna wants to move out to LA because she to be out there with Hollywood and the film and TV industry and all that. And she and I were planning on moving out there, or still are planning on moving out there together. I'd like to spend a year out there, but we have to have our scripts ready, and I haven't been able to finalize the scripts, or far beyond finalize it. But I have not. My scripts aren't ready. Her scripts aren't ready, and she wasn't quite ready to move this year anyway. So it might be another year before we go out to LA. But I was thinking, well, gee, I've got this extra year. Then maybe if I went to a different city, just to see a different city and got a job. One option would be to go ahead and move out to LA, but it would be nice to be able to see a different city. James says, I moved from California and I'm never going back. I hear about a lot of people doing that. Inner Light says, I have my first crib mate, a giant bunny. She's on my bookshelf, guardian of the books. Oh, you have a giant bunny too? Of course, mine isn't giant, but that's cool. Sable says, when I was a kid, we had a rabbit called Horatio. He was mean. People who think rabbits are just defenseless prey animals have never been kicked by them. Bloody scratches all up your arms. Ooh. Well, hopefully I would have nice rabbits. Okay, so what else could we do? I'm kind of thinking about this being a short today, so that is live. We are up. I need to go and post things on social media, and I need to do other things around there, so related to the campaign. So I think I am going to call it. So this is an abbreviated morning grind this morning. We will get back to looking at stuff tomorrow. I'm thinking that we look at the OSE tomorrow, because I may use the OSE to put into the Tales of Rabivania World Primer. I'm kind of thinking that the next project, like after this, so instead of trying to run the giant Kickstarters right now, just starting with continuing to do more smaller ones. So after this one, after Goodnight Sword, I'm thinking it'll be time to release the Rabivania World Primer and a couple of other things. So I'm going to try to do creative work too and get the World Primer where it needs to be. So I need to order those books, like order the preview of that book to make sure everything is right. So that means I've got to finish it and then lay it out and things like that. So that's what I'm thinking. We just continue to cycle. We do smaller Kickstarters that continue to grow. Tomocrat says, let's see. Oh, Sable Fancy, same here, James. Southern California. By the time I moved, I couldn't wait to leave. Nobody going back. Best geography and climate. Worst of everything else. yeah, I've been out to LA briefly, but everybody talks about, the climate, and man, it was beautiful. Tomocrat says, have you looked at Georgia? There's a big film industry there. Yes, I have looked at Georgia. That was one thing I actually asked Brianna about. That instead of going to Los Angeles, we could go someplace else first. Like just, okay, if we can't move out to Los Angeles this year, let's move out to some other city that might be easier to move to that also has that film element to it. And that could have been Georgia. She didn't want to move twice, though, which I understand. But I could go out there. I'm not really interested in living in Atlanta long term. Of the cities I would move to, Atlanta was not really on the list. But it does have that. It does that. There is some of that also in New Orleans. But, boy, that's another hot place to move to. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here on this special morning grind. I'm going to get into action, putting the link in different places and seeing what happens here. So we've got 16 days to go. Tomorrow, we'll probably take a look at the OSE. Oh, but tonight, now don't forget, tonight we have the table talk with Doug Burton on Star Trek II. That is The Wrath of Khan. So tonight we will be talking about The Wrath of Khan. I've already put that link up on the page. So tonight we will check back in on the Kickstarter and we will be talking Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. So I'm going to turn that back on. I was listening to the director's commentary for the show. So while I post, I'm going to watch more Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan director's commentary. So later, everybody. See you tonight. Enjoy yourself. Be productive. Be creative. And grind on.